13. Now board 1 was the 3-note trump contract in both rooms, was doubled by Jason in the open room. It can always be made, but it's very tough because you have to guess doubles and queen jack of clubs. You have ace third opposite king 10x, and you need, as it happens, you need 2 entries to the dummy with the king of clubs. The only entry is the king of clubs, really, unless you find queen jack doubleton, and you find it offside, all right? Because you need to bring in diamonds for 5 tricks, and you have ace queen jack 10 9 of diamonds opposite 4 small, or 4 to the 8 rather, and your diamonds are too good, so you need 2 entries to pick up the king. The king was on side third, and you don't have that, right? So gold got a club lead away from 5 small, and it went low from dummy queen, from a man who had queen jack doubleton ace. And now gold thought, well, the lead is away from the jack. Now I have an extra entry, so I can finesse the 10 now and lead a diamond up. But then the roof fell in, of course, when he played a club to the 10, and West won the jack, and now he could shift to a heart. So that went 2 down. In the other room, Jason doubled for the lead. Dummy had bit spades, king 10 to 5 spades, something like that. He had ace queen. Did he have ace queen to 6 over dummies? I think so. So part of that the singleton jack of spades, and Declarer covered in the dummy with the king 10 9 to 5. Jason switched to the jack of hearts, which was okay. Declarer had ace queen to 4. He ducked. But now Jason also cast the queen of spades, setting up the diamond spade suit in the dummy, and now it was an easy make. So 550 plus the 100 from the other table. So that was 12 imps to Poland. Very first board number 1.
Yes. On the one you've just described, did dummy have on a 10-9? In fact, I thought I'd seen that.
Yeah. King 10x. Yeah. Dummy had king 10 x of clubs. Declarer at a third. And you may argue it's a restricted choice situation. You have to play the clubs yourself for 2 entries. Say you cash the ace of clubs and you see the jack to your right. Ace, low, jack. You would still finesse the 10, wouldn't you? The problem is that he doesn't know that he needs 2 entries to pick up the diamonds. He basically needed the king of diamonds on side, but he could find it singleton or doubleton, but it was guarded by 2 cards, so he needed 2 entries.
Yes, on the 15 imp swing they didn't seem to do anything particularly wrong at either table, but just worked out that they were at the wrong end of an absolutely huge swing. It's partly due to the Polish club, because South had opened 1 club, which could be a weak no trump. The bidding then soared up very high, and eventually he took the decision to bid 6 clubs, facing his partner's 4 no trumps for takeout, because he hadn't really defined his hand at all, and that made on a favourable heart position.
Yes, but it was an interesting hand to play, actually. You can make it, of course, with king x in hearts, but you can also set up a diamond so that you only need the king of hearts to be on side. so you can get a heart away on a high diamond eventually, but that involves some risk. Now here, at my table, Baxi opened 3 clubs, and West jumped to 4 spades, to make, of course. North bid 5 clubs, and East 5 spades, and then pass. And then what was Gold supposed to do now? Looking at was it? Wait a second. Let me get his hand again. What was it? Was it? He was void in spades, right?
Yeah, was it Ace Queen X or Ace Jack X of hearts, and the minor suit aces?
Yes. No, he didn't have the minor suit aces. He had ace. No, he had Queen 10 to 5 diamonds, didn't he? Yeah, Queen 10 to 5 diamonds. Yes, Ace Jack to 5 hearts, and Ace 10x in clubs. What are you going to do now? Are you going to bid 6 clubs? Well, he didn't. He passed.
Yes, at the other table, the declarer did very somewhat dangerously begin on diamonds before drawing trumps, and 2 rounds stood up. And when West got in, he could see declarer was going to set up the diamonds, so he switched to a heart from King 1 to give declarer something of a guess, perhaps, if he had to guess if the diamonds were breaking or the King of Hearts was onside. But he played low from dummy immediately and ran it, and then he had it.
Yeah, I actually believe he played diamonds first, right? He roughed the spade, played a diamond to the king and another diamond, and then he abandoned diamonds eventually and went for the hearts and made it. Right. I better get a card for North-South, because they don't play Polish club. Or maybe Matthias from Germany knows the system by heart, in which case I can focus on the English. But you have the English card, don't you, David?
Yes, I've got it just by my left hand. It's in fact a somewhat brief one compared with a lot of those that fill up every square millimetre with characters, so there's a lot of white space on it. I'm very much in favour of that. Oh, I see. It's only 16 inch. Well, that's nothing between friends. Got the best part of 2 days' play still to come.
It's actually only 15.7, David. We don't have the decimal in. We can't. England actually has 25.33.
Right. Well, we'll note that down and hope we don't have to mention it for the rest of the 2 days.
Now, 2 diamonds would normally show a hard fit, but what is he supposed to do? He has a pretty good hand. Perhaps he could have bid a no trump. I don't know.
One no trump looks better to me. It shouldn't make any difference, but I mean, if 2 diamonds... I mean, 1 diamond by South didn't promise diamonds, did it? Anyway, so I suppose Bakshi is thinking 2 diamonds shows a good hand either way, and he didn't overcall 1 diamond, so presumably it's a cubit anyway.
1 diamond did indeed promise diamonds. Remember, they don't play Polish club. I mean, this is basically natural, standard, if you like.
Right. Yeah, but it's dangerous, isn't it, with only 2 hearts. So 1 no trump looks so much better to me. It's just creating problems where none exists, really. What can be wrong? What can go wrong if you bid 1 no trump?
I think 1 no is better.
This could easily be doubled by North now. Ace, Queen, 10x of hearts.
Could even be doubled by South. Here's the double. Yeah. Well, he may pull to 4 diamonds now. But South should double that. Or will. Yeah, 2 diamonds created problems. No doubt about it.
It's got 10 points. Why not show it and then just leave it to gold? Gold would have probably passed on that hand. It's such a shame. Anyway, I mustn't be grumpy. They've done so well up to now. Cheer up, Mr. Commentator.
Well, how bad is it? Well, they have 4 club tricks with a 9 singleton and dummy, 4 clubs, 2 hearts. How can it go 3 down? I can see 2 down.
See, Bakshi may see a game with his 2 aces if partner's got 6 hearts. But facing 1 no trump, he can rebid his hearts, and Bakshi can raise in that case if he wants to. Facing 5 hearts, he needs a lot of points opposite against 2 players that have bid. You can't always assume they've opened on 10 and responded on 4.
It's not a good.
Well, I wonder why gold didn't sign off in 2 hearts over the 2 diamond bid.
I was going to say that this is not a good board for England at all. In the other room, Forrester Robson on 4 clubs doubled. And that's probably 2 down. What a strange lead. Partner doubles 3 no trumps. And you lead an unbid suit.
Pretty good chart. Bakshi should pick up the diamonds now. He's had a natural diamond bid. There aren't many points out, and North has shown very good hearts with his double. So that's 2 down at both tables or something. Well, still not a good one.
Yeah. The lead doesn't matter because declarer can come to no more than 7 tricks as it is. Yeah, with 2 diamonds should show a sound heart race. So I agree with Peter. Why didn't West just sign off in 2 hearts?
See how it was essential to win the spade lead in dummy, cross to the ace of diamonds, finesse once, and you've still got the ace of spades entry. If you carelessly get worried about how the bidding misfired and win it in hand, then you would have to take a first round finesse in diamonds.
And Carlita should now know that his partner has the king of clubs. So he can discard 7 and 10 of hearts.
Very strange auction in the other room, I can tell you. It went one club from Robson north. One club pass pass. West balanced with one heart. And I don't think you can guess Robson's bid now, unless you know it.
What, on the north cards?
Yeah.
Well, I would pass, but still, perhaps that's too tricky.
Yeah. He rebid 2 clubs. He opened a short club, and then he rebid 2 clubs.
Yeah, because they respond very light, don't they, if they don't on many hands. Tell me how that carried them to 4 clubs.
Because Forrester jumped to 4 clubs next. He's doubled 2 clubs. Cards, I presume. And Forrester jumped to 4 clubs. West doubled.
The king of clubs for his 1 diamond bid. And even the Souths have chosen to bid on Jack 4 and clubs. No problem there. He can discard the 10 of hearts now.
If you were writing a textbook on bidding and had to give a typical hand for Easter bid 1 no trump on facing 1 heart, wouldn't be far away from what Bakshi actually holds, would it? 10 points and a stopper in both suits. Mind you, you might make such a bid on a 12 count, so I suppose if gold is counting points, you may still think they've got 25.
Yeah, I agree with Peter. That South must have the king of clubs. But he also needs the eight of clubs, right? For you to take 4 club tricks. And you just swap the 7 and the 8, and that declarer actually has a club stopper.
Yes, but no problem. He can discard 10 of hearts and 2 of clubs and set up his 4th spade.
He shouldn't be worried about being thrown in clubs to give dummy the king of hearts, because he can always cross over to the south hand in clubs.
South can now discard the 3 of spades to clear the spade position, or the 3 of clubs also work.
Yeah, but it's an open book now. Meanwhile, Robson is struggling in 4 clubs next door, and they have defended accurately till now. Robson in the tank, so it looks like going 2 down there as well. That's 300 plus 300, and 12 imps. Yeah, there's some logic to Robson's 2 club rebid, because when partner passes 1 club, he raises to have clubs, because they respond very, very light, playing transfer responses. So yes, South is marked with clubs, and that's why he rebid 2 clubs.
But it was still a partnership misunderstanding in a way. Robson was bidding 2 clubs because he could tell he was safe at that level, and Forrester obviously placed him with a much better hand with more than 4 clubs if he goes all the way to the 4 level on with so many losers. Some players would open 1 no trump on these cards.
They can't do that.
No, 12 to 14 non-vulnerable, yeah, that's right, yeah. Or a good 11. So, I'm sure he's happy that he is playing the weak no trump, can bid those splendid hearts. So is South happy that he can bid the hearts.
You can bid 1-0 trump now to show 15-17.
Roland, I'm asked if I could go to the closed room, where there also are between 1,000 and 1,500 spectators, but I need a co-commentator. Can you find one to help me?
That's a problem. I know Peter Crouch is otherwise engaged, meeting in London, so he's not even online, I think, but he may be, of course, in the other room. Who else do we have?
But I can go there and start up, and hopefully you'll find a partner for me.
Yeah, Bill Jacobs not available today, so he's not online. Our American colleagues are sleeping now. One can understand that. It's the closed room of this match. Panja volunteered, I think. Prakash from India, well, living in England. But if he goes there, I need to know the account, because he has 2 accounts online. I have to go there to add him to the voice server. I don't think he's added. But then he'll have to send me a private message.
In the Venice Cup semi-final, England facing France, East did open a strong no-trump, and West tried her luck with 2 clubs in case there was a spade fit. They stopped in 2 no-trumps, which was a bit high, and it went 1 down, so that was 4 imps away.
At long last, they finished board 1 in the other room, and the expected 300 there as well, but in the other direction. So 12 imps to Poland.
There was so much tension throughout yesterday's play, which was spectacular and great viewing in many ways, whoever you were supporting. This seems a bit flat by comparison, and I'm wondering if the English team are not yet got themselves fully up to speed.
Right, I'm leaving now for a minute or 2, David, to add Tim Burke to the voice server in the closed room.
Right, Tim just told me he can't do voice commentary. Has he changed his mind? He doesn't normally do that. Yeah, by all means, if he says he can, that's great. Yes, well, you know that in the semi-finals of the Bermuda Bowl and the Venice Cup, you're going to be facing a pretty great team. So I'm sure that England didn't think the job was done once they'd managed to overcome USA 1. Certainly they know by now, being 28 imps down, that the job is not done. There's a long way to go, but hoping that we don't see any more self-created swings away with unusual actions. Club rough could stop any thoughts of making 6 spades in its tracks. Looks like declarer can take 1 heart rough. Play 2 rounds of trumps.
Okay, I'm back. So I added Panja and I added Tim back as well. And he asked me, what do I do? He hasn't been on voice before. So I told him, let's see. But at least they are two. Did I miss anything exciting?
Well, he's followed restricted choice in the spade suit. They're only at the 4 level, so it doesn't matter. I pointed out that should they happen to get to 6, then there's a possible club rough. He had a hard lead from the king and the queen won, so he could have roughed another heart and played trumps from the top, and that would have given him 12.
So here we have a tactical opening in third seat, where Bakshi prefers to get his 4-card major, strongest 4-card major in, rather than diamonds.
Right, now Gold may like the look of his ace-queen of spades. He shows 2-note trumps is often played as being a 4-card raise, and 2 spades would be a 3-card raise, but not everyone uses that treatment. It's not really consistent for him to go to 4 after Bakshi's sign-off when partners opened in the third seat. Obviously, Bakshi can now pass perhaps to show, yeah, he's got absolute rock bottom. The lack of that 5th heart, no aces at all, his hand could be difficult for it to be worse.
Indeed, 2-note trumps is a 4-card race. Invitational, and obviously it's invitational here because Gold is the passed hand, but it would also be invitational if he hadn't been if he had not been a passed hand.
There is a sort of defence against 4 spades with a club rough, but apart from that, West does have 2 club tricks.
Hearts. Yeah, the three spades would have made. So 4 hearts is only 1 down, isn't it? I think, because there's no diamond rough. So you only lose a club, 2 diamonds and a heart.
Well, you've got 2 club losers, haven't you? Again, you can't particularly say that Bakshi or Gold have done anything wrong. You can understand opening 4-card hearts to get the lead. And Gold has a good hand. You can't really fault him for going to 4 hearts. But again, you know, they've done slightly unusual actions and maybe conjuring a bad board out of it. I can see that Gold has a really good hand where he's expecting the King of Spades to be on side, but I mean, I suppose he was intending to go to 4 all along. Doesn't really matter if Bakshi's light. If he's got 5 hearts and the King of Spades is on side, you'd have a good chance.
Yeah.
The fact that he hasn't is introducing this 4-1 break problem here.
Of course he expects partner to have 5 hearts. Because if he had any idea about the 4-card suit, he wouldn't have bid 4 hearts. But
well, that's the same. Saying that's just the same with the bad board that Forrester and Robson had, that Forrester was expecting Robson to have 5 clubs when he rebid his club suit, so it's the same sort of thing. Right, he's gone to 4 spades. Well, that wasn't the winning move. Now Gold can double, surely.
Yeah, it's just down. Declarer has 2 natural club losses. Now, board 19 could be very interesting in the other room, because the Polish pair bid to 5 spades.
Well, I think that's okay. They may even make 6.
I don't really think Kalita's approach here was consistent. I mean, he did see 2 no trumps as a 4-card race earlier, and he bid just only 3 spades. Now, why would you want to bid 4 spades now when you didn't bid it earlier? I mean, if you think your partner is void in hearts, you could have bid 4 spades over 2 no trumps.
The other thing is that it's a little bit different making these decisions when it's the last decision in the pass-out seat. Over 4 hearts, if he wasn't sure what to do, if he didn't have an obvious 4 spade bid, then there was the option to pass it round to his partner, who still had a hand with a lot of variation in it with regard to points and defensive values, and leave the decision to him. At the other table, East opened 1 no trump in the 3rd seat, and I'm told that was made. Although it said South, he's telling me that South led a heart, which doesn't seem very likely. Well, there are some hands where it would make a difference whether gold took his ace of clubs now or not. It would be more useful for declarer to have the queen 10 intact. But here it doesn't seem that there's going to be any problem. Gold can just hold on to his jack, and he's not got any guards elsewhere that he might need to hold. So that's fine. Right, okay. So England gain from small slip by North.
Yes. Potential swing. It'll take a while. They are very slow in the other room, so we won't get any comparisons here. I think it's safe to say. I have an account in the other room, so no problem. Possible four spades for east-west here, with problems as the cards lie.
After the opening bid, he may be able to pick up the trumps for any one loser, but unless he can get a diamond away on the clubs perhaps, so it's not without hope.
No. May be able to. So here we have the four-card race again, invitational. And I think gold would accept. He just did.
So he can place the ace of spades with south. If they're 2-2, then the jack will fall. But there's a fair chance, with south having longer hearts, the north that he may have single ace of trumps. Not much point leading hearts from the west hand, spades from the west hand anyway.
No point in ducking, because if he does, then south can defeat it by switching to a diamond. So gold rightly went up with the ace of hearts to play a spade, and now he is okay because he's one tempo ahead. So a diamond switch won't help the defense now.
As it happens, a diamond lead would have worked well, but no reason to lead that when partners opened a heart. Just shows you that the percentage leads aren't always going to work. We all know that, but it's still, you want to make the leads which have most chance of success in the long run.
But how would a diamond lead help, David? Then you won't get a heart trick.
I see. Yes. That's right, you may get the heart away instead. They can't knock out both red stoppers. Yeah, good point.
But then, of course, if you get a diamond lead, you end up in the wrong hand. and then you need to take the right view instead. Not so easy from the west hand.
Could you cross to a club to play a trump? Is that going to work?
We'll play another diamond. Yeah, that's okay also.
You can play ace and jack from your hand. You don't need to lead clubs. I mean, if the 10 falls doubleton or the queen doubleton or the clubs are 3-3, you get a discard of the a red suit discard on the 4th round. So it's a pretty simple position to look at. Gold needs to work out the best chance of setting up an extra club trick for a diamond discard. This option is to finesse, which would fail if North had the doubleton queen, or to play the cards from the top, which would fail if one of the defenders had queen 10 4th.
We need suit play here. To tell us what the percentage play is in clubs for 3 tricks. Does the 9 make any difference? It probably does. So yeah, we have to insert ace jack x, king 9 x x.
Absolutely. If the 9 wasn't there, then you would finesse the jack.
I have 10 windows open already, so I'm not going to open another window in case I crash. But someone will probably run it through suit play and let me know. I'm not quite sure.
Yeah, well, South opened the bidding. That's another factor that might, obviously it may be quite close between the lines. So the fact that he opened the bidding and is slightly more likely to have a missing queen perhaps. So you may judge that North has got 3 hearts and didn't raise the hearts. I mean, no, that doesn't make much difference because he had the queen anyway.
Now suit play says ace of clubs and then cross and lead towards the jack. But you don't have the entries for that. We have to take that into consideration as well. So cast the ace of clubs, then cross to the dummy and lead towards the jack. But you can't do that here. But you don't have an entry.
Right, well, we were spared the sight that we've seen twice before in earlier matches of declarer exiting and trying to end play South if he had 4 clubs to the 10. We saw 2 declarers do that, one England one and one of our opponents, evened out when they had the game seemingly on top and they went for an end play, misreading the cards. In the case of the England declarer, that was largely because of a very clever false card in a different suit. Well, in the suit where he was playing for the other defender to hold 4, followed with the 9 of clubs.
Now this will get a spade lead. Let's see how many tricks. Declara has 4 heart tricks. As it happens, 4 hearts, 5 clubs, 2 aces, 11. And you can actually make 6 clubs when you have 4 heart tricks. Again, a diamond loser goes away on the 4th heart, and you only lose a spade.
Absolutely perfect fit, but it's not a good slam anyway.
No. South upgraded. Fair enough. It is a strong no-top in theory. 14 and a good 5-card suit. I'm pretty sure Forrest will do the same in the other room.
Heart suit is yet another one that lends itself to a restricted choice. If you play ace and king and the jack or 10 falls from east, it's twice as likely that that card is from a doubleton as part of jack 10x, so the odds would favour finessing the 9 on the 3rd round. Still a few players around the world, even some of the people watching this broadcast, who don't believe in restricted choice. And Reese Eustace
Well, if I could decide anything, David, I'd love to have a final between England and Sweden. And you wouldn't mind, would you?
Well, what all I want to do is to get England back in touch and to be convinced that they're playing with the sort of electricity that they did for the previous 2 days, because it's been a bit lackluster up to now.
Off shape.
See, we don't want East to bid 4 hearts now, for example.
But you can tell us what 2 clubs is, please.
Clubs and one of the majors. It's up to Bakshi to guess which it is.
Very good.
Anyway, I mean, they have got a 5-3 spade fit as it happens. Probably plays better than a 7-0 heart fit with ace queen jack 8 offside. Once he got 4 trump losers.
Yeah. 4 spades is fine, isn't it? No problem in 4 spades.
Well, say he bids 3 hearts, whatever that means. Gold can bid spades now with a 5-card suit and maybe get to 4 spades. It's a tricky one, but I don't want to see them in 4 hearts because it's not necessary. You can avoid it somehow, lads. Come on!
Yeah, but the problem for Bakshi is that Parda didn't promise 5 spades and 5 of the major, I'm sure. But does it show spades specifically, David?
No, it doesn't. But they certainly do make that bid with only 4 clubs and 5 in the major, because we saw it yesterday.
Yeah, he could have bid 2 diamonds to show 5 spades and 4 plus in a minor, if he wanted to emphasize the 5-card major.
Right, 3 hearts is fine. Thought he might do that. He has got a good hand, and he knows that gold is likely to be filling in his king jack x of spades. So you can sort of imagine queen 1 of hearts in the west hand, if you're that way inclined. But I mean, say he has got clubs and spades, he's oh so likely to have longer diamonds than hearts. So you really could have a lot of losers in 4 hearts. Now it's up to, we can see what gold does. That's not at all easy for him.
Well, we don't know exactly what 3 hearts is. I assume it's natural, and it doesn't imply a fit for the other major. I think that's coincidental that he has 3 spades there.
Well, I think 3 hearts is a very good bid, actually. That's the best you can do. I mean, these hands may not fit your particular convention. 2 hearts would be a bit wet, wouldn't it? You'd often miss a game, assuming that's non-forcing. He's passed, right.
It's very difficult to bid this hand if you don't emphasize the spade suit with the west hand, the 5-card spade suit.
Trouble is, it's pretty trivial to bid if South doesn't open 1 no trump. Most people will have some way to show a black 2 suitor. They're in 4 spades, and they're getting a big swing against us. So there we are. I don't disagree with any of the bids that Gold and Bakshi made, but it just seems Things aren't going well at the moment for our team. Kibitzers are telling me that 6 spades can be made. Well, that's right, that's true. It's not a good one for the 2-club convention, really. But he had such good clubs, you can understand him starting that way.
Maybe East didn't have to jump to 3 hearts. Maybe he could just inquire with 2-note trumps. I don't know.
Yes, but I mean, if a partner's only got 4 spades, it's not so good, is it? And with the 7-card suit, you are happy to play it. I think some pairs are going to get to 4 hearts. And probably that wouldn't be such a good idea for South to double in case they run into spades then.
No.
So I think they've bid reasonably here, and it wasn't good for their methods. Unlike some of the other adverse swings where it seemed they were perhaps flying a bit off the road. Only slightly, but ending up costing them. So this will be very unusual if he makes 3 hearts with 4 trump losers.
But that's all he loses, right? So he's making this, just losing 4 hearts. In the other room, Forrester did open 1 diamond, and now it was easy for East-West to find the spade fit. The auction isn't over, but they did find the spade fit.
Well, even though the auction's not over, it's either bad news or very bad news, according to whether they bid 6 spades or not.
No, it's very good news, actually. Now, West overcalled 2 clubs, right? East bid his hearts. Jumped to 3 hearts. Now West bid 3 spades. But East rebid his hearts, David. They earned 4 hearts in the other room. Are you happier now?
I am almost dying with happiness. Just imagine, we were 34 down already, and another doubling int swing would have been really serious. Well, that's a lucky break. But I remember a commentator who said that some teams would get to 4 hearts. How right that wise man was. So basically I deserve all the credit for the good board, Roland.
Yeah, of course. It's really amazing, isn't it? That England will gain 6 imps here instead of losing 10. Yeah, that's a 16 imp swing.
In the other Bermuda Bowl semi-final, they played 4 spades at one table, the other one 3 no trumps. Imagine that with a 6-5 hand facing a 7-card heart suit. In the England ladies match, it was the England team that ended in 4 hearts. The French bid 4 spades.
But in the other room, it was really silly for East to jump to 3 hearts, wasn't it? But 2 hearts may not be forcing for them. That's why he did it. Because if 2 hearts is forcing, you want to bid 2 hearts. Partner can bid spades. Then you can rebid your hearts. But partner can rebid his spades to show 6-5. And then you find your spade fit.
Well, I think the fact that so many very good teams have ended in hearts shows that's a difficult hand to bid. I think East had a very good hand, and with a king 10 9 to 7 and partner maybe having even single jack may get you across the line. So it doesn't surprise me that so many pairs are falling into what turned out to be a bear trap waiting for them.
Yes, but I don't like the idea of 2 hearts being non-forcing after the overcall. I play it as forcing. New major at the 2 level, I play as forcing for 1 round. But, fortunately for England, the Polish pair in the other room didn't, and East had to jump to 3 hearts.
Yes, well, it gets you off to a better start, but if it goes 2 hearts 2 spades, now 3 hearts probably isn't forcing, is it now? So you might be a bit nervous of bidding just that. Maybe you should make a bit of 4th suit forcing, something like that.
Then you could bid 3 diamonds on the way, and then you hear 3 spades from partner, and you're a happy man.
Just shows how difficult bidding is. You lay those hands out east-west and say, well, it's either 4 spades or 6 spades. And then you find that so many teams playing in the semi-finals of the World Championship are not finding the spade fit. Playing in 4 hearts and 3 hearts and 4 hearts. 3 no trumps. There's a tiny element of luck in the decision to upgrade that fairly modest 15 count, or however many points it was, 14 to 15, to 1 no trump caused the problem. But it's only a tiny one, and they still had some sort of chance to find a spade fit with those hands. But certainly it was much easier after 1 diamond, and then that was a huge slice of luck that still they managed to end in the wrong contract at the other table. Lucky one for us.
We're not really paying attention to this hand. Very interesting 1 no trump. Weak no trump opened, or pass. And with the ace of spades on side, ace of clubs, even ace queen clubs on side still, Bakshi will make it.
So he can win with either honour as the cards lie and lead towards the Queen of Spades.
He can, because North is down to a singleton club, so he can even afford to go up with the king. So he has no losing option here. The commentators in the closed room must be better than us, David, because they have 600 more there. 2100 to 15.
Yeah, if I was watching, then I'd be listening over there. Tim Burke's debut as a commentator must be marvellous. Hope Peter Lund can fill us in what he's like. He's a great friend of mine and sends me lots of constructed hands, usually one email a day with a really good hand in it, which I use in all my writing. So he's just what we call the world's top constructor of interesting bridge hands, finding one with an unusual twist to them and things which look fresh. That's a good word to describe a bridge hand, something that seems to have a little bit new, something new about it that you haven't seen before. That you don't groan and say, oh God, not another Trump coup or something. Oh, Tim's already gone to bed. Yes. So I've missed it.
Two clubs described as can be semi-natural. On the card,
Yes, Al Hollander mentioned that Tim Burke did have one of the three top bridge libraries in the world, but he donated it to a Melbourne museum for posterity.
he actually sent me some. He asked if I was interested in old bridge magazines, and he sent me a pile. Very kind of him.
It's really great reading through old magazines, isn't it? I mean, the first reaction is you think how bad the bidding was if you look through old bridge worlds, but you get such a lot of interesting reading from that. I've got a whole trunk full of old magazines and a chest of drawers, both in the garage. And of course the room I'm commentating in now has got books piled too deep in a whole wall of bookcases. Tim gave me a fantastic number of old World Championship books as well.
So De Clara has 10 certain tricks here, and he may end up with an over trick, but may be unlikely because he's probably going to play for the ace of hearts to be on side and not the queen of clubs. But make it he will. To make an over trick, he has to take a club finesse now. And that's not without risk, so obviously he's going to play a heart, and then he's down to 10 tricks. Oh, dear. Okay, he was not going to finesse. Right.
So a bit of a breather for everyone, for the players and the commentators and the spectators. Don't want to have drama all the time. Some of the thrillers you see on TV, absolutely nothing happens for the first 40 minutes. If the reviewers, pre-reviewers in the papers could tell you that you should tune in at 9:40 instead of 9 o'clock, they could save you wasting 40 minutes of your life.
The slam actually. 6 clubs played by West happens to be code. But will you get there? North can't attack spades, so you get a spade away eventually on the king of diamonds. And with the king of hearts on side, you could probably make a grand slam. So David and I would bid 7 clubs, of course.
What, would we, with the ace of diamonds missing?
Yep. Of course we would.
We're not part of the England team.
True. But it doesn't only happen to the England team. Do you remember the ACBL event a couple of years back when there were 7 diamonds at both tables off the ace of diamonds?
Well, that's probably one of the hands in your BBO articles in Bridge magazine a few years ago.
It was. Absolutely. So one realized that he did have the ace of diamonds against 7 diamonds and doubled. At the other table he didn't find it and didn't double. So it was a 2-imp swing.
What a wonderful game bridge is. So gold's 1 heart shows spades, and gold has shown a very good hand now by opening a club and rebidding 3 hearts. So it's not out of the question that they will head towards a club slam, helped by the fact that they don't want to play in 3-no trumps, so they're going to agree clubs anyway. Bakshi can just bid a simple 4 clubs now, I guess.
He can. And he can bid 3-no trumps. And he can bid 5 clubs. That will not get them to slam, of course. Now, if we go back to that 7 diamond hand at the National in USA a couple of years ago, Bakshi was actually involved in that because he was the one who bid 7 diamonds at one table, playing with Del Monte from Australia, and at the other table Levin and Weinstein bid to 7 diamonds as well.
Well, I may be wrong, I often am, but as far as I know, in this particular Bermuda Bowl, England have only bid 3 Grand Slams, and there's been an ace missing on every one of them.
Yes, that's very unlucky.
That was an old joke by Boris Shapiro that we bid a Grand Slam, but we were unlucky that the ace of hearts was offside.
Oh, many years ago I was in 7 hearts, off the ace of hearts. It was in a cup match. And very sportingly, the man with the ace of hearts didn't double. I'll never forget that. What a nice man.
How many imps did that save you?
A couple.
It's a pretty good general rule in bridge that you shouldn't bid any Grand Slams unless it happens that you can count 13 tricks. That would save a lot of players a bundle of imps, and for some players not to bid any slams at all would save them quite a lot. I remember seeing that advice in some old English bridge magazine, looking at the results of how well England had done in the European Championship and saying that if they hadn't bid any slams at all they'd have done better. But bidding slams, of course, is one of the most important things in doing well in international championships. It's incredibly difficult, and of course you do have to guess sometimes how high to go.
Now, on 26, in the other semi-final, Kraniak and Demuy for USA 2 did bid 6 clubs, and made it, of course. That was good. And I thought this could have been a Gazzilli auction, but it isn't. Well, 2 clubs might have been artificial, well, it probably is, but 2-no trumps is not a Gazzilli response to 2 clubs.
Well, 2-no trumps is natural, presumably. If 2 clubs was Gazzilli, is he not can he not bid 2-no trumps instead? He has to bid 2 diamonds on 8+, does he?
Yeah. 2 diamonds is forced on 8+.
What would 2-no trumps mean then?
Well, it wouldn't be systemic, because you can't bid 2-no trumps if you play Gazzilli, unless you have a partnership agreement. So I can't tell you that. Do you want the 18 pages, David, with Gazzilli notes, or not?
Well, I've already told you that this room is a bit full with a load of bridge claptrap. So the only space I would have for the 18-page Gazzilli one would be in our dustbin. So probably not worth sending it at the moment. In any case, if he always has to bid 2 diamonds on 8+, I'm surprised it's more than 1 page long.
Well, he can bid 2-no trumps, David, but it has a completely different meaning. It would be fewer than 8 high card points, 0 to 1 spade, and both minors. So it doesn't add up. I must by Al Hollander, who authored 18-page write-up of Gazzilli. Well, what's his name again? It's a guy from India. I have the link. He is a biograph commentator, but I forget his name. I'm sorry. I can look it up, of course. No, it wasn't Lauria, not that one. It was in the Indian Bridge magazine, 18 pages, spread over 3 issues of the magazine. Wait a second.
Well, they obviously pay by the page, as many bridge magazines do. Now, on this hand, it seems there's a trap that 3-no trumps will not be a good contract. So, you know, the hearts can be set up, and then you don't have the tricks with the club offside. You've only got 2 spades, 1 heart, and 3 diamonds. Yeah, so 4 spades is very much a good place to be. Or you could play in clubs.
I got some help from a spectator here. Sudia Argaval, that's right. Sudia Argaval.
Well, although I wouldn't like to read the whole thing, I'd be very interested to see what was on page 16 to give some clue as to how you can expand the description of a convention to that horrible excess.
Well, you know, I'm on 18 pages. Well, it sounds like a lot, but remember that I have to give so many examples. You know, in order for people to understand the implications, right? You know that better than anyone, David, how much space you need when you have to give lots of examples.
I'm looking here at the natural bidding. If it goes, say, 1 spade, 2 clubs, 3 spades, say if North bid, Knight bid 3 no trumps, you know, it'd be interesting to see if everyone manages to arrive in a safe black suit contract here, rather than 3 no trumps with the inadequate heart stoppers.
But North shouldn't bid 2 clubs, and they won't bid 2 clubs in the other room, I predict, because 2 clubs is game forcing.
See, if East leads a heart and the Queen wins, you've got to start, you can establish clubs, can't you? And the King 1 is still protected if you finesse into the safe hand, yes. That's okay then. Wouldn't be any good on the Ace of Hearts lead, or if West was on lead and led a heart. As long as East puts up his ace, clears the suit.
So they're going to bid the hand right now in the other room. So I'm pretty sure Robson will respond 1 no trump, since 2 clubs is game forcing. He can't force to game with that 11 count opposite a partner who opened 1 spade, where you have a singleton.
Well, has got some 10s and 9s.
He did bid 1 no trump, as I predicted. And now Forrester bids 2 hearts, which is a spade rebid, as they play it. They play transfers now, after a 1 no trump response.
Well, anyway, when I had a second look at it, it looks as if they will survive if North plays in 3 no trumps, so. See, on a low heart lead, it's a good textbook hand. You've got a chance of developing the clubs or the spades, and you choose the clubs because you are finessing into the safe hand. The East hand, who can't play hearts because you've still got King 7 left. If you took a finesse into the dangerous hand, deservedly it would lose to the Queen of spades, and then a heart would come through the King X.
So over 2 hearts from Forrester. Robson bid 2 spades, which is pretty much forced. And now 2 no trumps from Forrester. Raised to 3 no trumps, Dave. It's, so Robson is in 3 no trumps next door, but he's fine. You're playing clubs, of course.
Unless the ace of hearts is led.
Well, they don't have the hand records, so they're not going to lead the ace of hearts.
Yes. Well, I mean, if the north-south hands were set in a bidding competition, then you'd get top scores for the black suit games. And 3 no trumps is pretty safe. No, it's not very safe. If there's a heart lead and the single king loses to the ace and the hearts are cleared, yeah, then you're in trouble, yeah. So you'd only get about 6 for 3 no trumps.
And of course the lead
6
was
out of 10.
out. One spade is alerted because it can be 3 cards. That's systemic. Can be. Doesn't promise 4. 0 to 4 is basically an old-fashioned 1 no trump response. Why is it a good thing to invert that? Because you make the stronger hand declarer in 1 no trump. You see? It's better than to actually bid 1 no trump. Then you are playing there with the weak hand, and now you can make partner declarer in a no trump contract if he has the right hand for it. Yep, this is diamonds.
So as it happens, that puts the good spade suit on lead. If East was playing it, they might have got a club lead instead.
Yes, that's a little unlucky, isn't it? The long spade would be on lead here, which means that you can't make it. With the Queen of Hearts wrong as well. So that's just unlucky.
Sure is, because if East had been playing it and you got a low spade lead, you might have no stopper at all.
Exactly right. Well, it is true that you may be able to make it still. If you know that the Queen of Hearts is offside, then there's probably an end play on North to lead away from the Queen of Hearts. Will you find it? Now declarer has one spade trick, two hearts is 3, at least 3 diamonds is 6, and a club is 7.
See that North has played his 6 of spades. Yeah, that's because the 6 of spades has gone, so the 7 of spades otherwise would have been able to win a spade exit. Well, it's all doubled up.
Yeah, you seem to have a delay today again, David, because I could hear my own voice about 20 seconds after I finished my last sentence as an echo. Yep, and I'm breaking up for David, so he will leave and re-enter. Now this is just the normal line. It's just not the winning line here. Normal contract, normal line, and the contract is down. Still playing board 26 in the other room. 27, of course. And Robson is making his 3-no trump contract. Just did. 2 over tricks, flat board. A danger looming in the other room on 28. Because East responded 1-no trump, just a natural 1-no trump. And then he will be declarer in a no trump contract. And how can Forrester find a spade lead? He'll lead a club, won't he? Again, 0 to 4 spades. I think we lost David. He has no slider. Interesting lead. Yeah, on 28, Forrester obviously led a club, the king of clubs, and now declarer is home because he loses to North, who can't attack spades. But yeah, he is. If you can hear me, you're okay, David. You have a slider.
Yes, I can hear you. Yeah, I had a problem with what I always used to think was a modem, and Peter Lund said, "No, David, that is a router. Modems stopped 20 years ago."
Likely swing of 10 imps coming for Poland on 28. Really unlucky for England, I would say. I mean, they played 3-note trumps from the hand with a spade stopper, and that was wrong. Not easy for Novosatsky here. What on earth is he going to do now? Diamond isn't good. Heart is out of the question. Spade doesn't look right. Club, well, he will find partner with the queen. So the Clara has 8 tricks now on a dropping, so he has another 2 hard tricks, the king of spades and ace of clubs, and still has the queen of diamonds guarded with the king in south. He is okay.
So England have only scored 7 imps in this set as it happens, and 6 of them were due to sort of miscalculation by the Poland North, really, on board 23. So that could have gone very much worse than it did. They may have had slightly the worst of the luck, the England team, but I mean that can always happen, and rather worrying, the number of imps there. Of course you can catch them up. Most amazing example of that was the Australian senior team, who had a lead of something like 63 and then lost their quarter-final eventually by a good margin. So things can...
That's a possible spade slam here. A contract you can make if you know the layout. Remember, this is a spade race because they played transfers now. gold would have been two diamonds if he had long hearts. So two hearts is a spade race. And one spade didn't promise. Sorry, one spade didn't promise spades. So this is just natural spades by West, showing a good hand.
England ladies against France are down by a similar amount. So whereas yesterday was the stuff of dreams, today is the stuff of something else. So far.
So if you guess the jack of spades, you can make a slam here. Heart 3-3. Club 3-3 if you need that. You don't. But it's certainly not a slam you want to be in. Unless you're desperate. Really, really need points.
As two hearts is a transfer, do you think Gold's hand was unlimited in terms of spade support?
No,
Well, he didn't know that partner had spades, of course, no. But it was unlimited. I was wondering if Bakshi had...
It was limited. You can see what Matthias just wrote.
At most 15, yes, I see. I was wondering why Bakshi had gone straight to four spades. That explains it.
And 28, Robson has been in the tank for 5 minutes now, upon winning the Queen of Hearts. He ducked. When De Clara played a heart to the jack, he ducked, and then De Clara continued with ace-king and another heart. And Robson is in with the Queen of Hearts. And I kid you not, he has been in the tank for 5 minutes so far. That's nothing he can do, but he's still thinking.
Got an email from someone who says they have a very good opening bid on that West hand. I don't know if you want me to follow that up, Roland, and ask him what it is.
Thank you very much, but tell someone else. to the jack of spades, of course. I'll give him 11 tricks. At least we'll get a break, David, after segment 2. Do you remember yesterday? We got about 4 minutes.
Yes, I remember I had to commentate with a sandwich in my mouth after lunch. Don't know if any of the spectators noticed.
Me too. I even told you that I'm chewing.
Was it while you were chewing that someone thought you came from the northeast of England?
No, he said Scandinavia, Nordic, typical Nordic accent. And I said Scunthorpe, didn't I? I think so.
Oh. Perhaps you were eating a smörgåsbröd, if I've got that right.
That's right in Swedish, not so in Danish. It's smørbrød in Danish. Not easy to pronounce.
Right. I'll make a note of it. You know I make a point of mispronouncing all the foreign bridge players' names, anglicising them, on a point of principle. Probably you shouldn't say Bakshi. Maybe KH is more like Bakshi.
I have no problem, because I have no problem with Loch Lomond. When I speak Hebrew, where we have that sound, so that's easy.
Yeah, we use that sound when we get a bit of sandwich stuck in our throat.
Yes. Robson finally played a card after the Queen of Hearts, and now Gabri's thinking. So he got out with the Jack of Diamonds and wanted the King in hand after some thought, and now he's thinking again. Cast another diamond, the Queen, and now he's thinking again.
Well, this has been one of the lowest scoring sets that I've watched since we started watching well over a week ago. Unfortunately, it's been particularly low scoring in one of the columns. But things can change.
Oh my word. So he decided to play a spade up in the endgame and guessed them going up with the King, because if he hadn't he would go down. Wow. So he's making an over trick in 3-0.
Started writing my article on the whole event for English Bridge yesterday, and I saw that Draper and Brown were top of the cross-imping in the women's event with plus 1.25 imps per board. That is remarkable, and I think that's the third time that Fiona Brown has topped the ladies ranking list in various world or European events. She's with a new partner now, a fairly new partner. Wanted to put the cross-imp results in my article because several England pairs have done very well. Gunnar Hallberg and John Holland were really high up in the senior event. The trouble with that is that it's a bit embarrassing if you have to put in the odd pair who has done badly. So it's difficult to know whether to give the results of all the pairs or just a discreet silence from anyone who's negative imps. No reason why you should, I suppose. It's just like reporting a football match and saying that whether someone did well or not.
So we'll be back in about 15 minutes. At long last, 28 is over in the other room, and the expected 10 imps.
Yeah, thanks for watching, and sorry it wasn't the most brilliant of sessions, but we can hope for better things after lunch. Bye for now.
Bye bye.